Hello, dear friends and valued followers. I hope you're doing well. I wish you all the very best. I'm Puriya, and this is the KD Academy English channel. Thanks for following us. If you aren't yet, please do. We have a lot to cover together. First off, who am I? I've been a financial market instructor and trader in Persian for years. I worked in Turkey in Turkish for years, and now I'm in Canada, where I'll be active in English. I'll be your guide through various financial markets, especially the stock market. We intend to be active in the stock market, metals market, forex market, and sometimes the crypto market, so that we can make some progress together. Because with this inflation and these prices, it's no longer possible to make a living. The returns speak for themselves, and many people in different languages will follow this video. I hope you'll be one of them and join our community. But let's not make this too long. Today, we're going to talk about silver. Why silver? Well, those who follow me in Persian probably remember when silver was $20 an ounce. And I kept saying, buy silver, buy silver. Friends in Turkey remember it around $30, and now with silver at $60 or $70, it's showing the market is in a completely different place, a whole new world. The thing is, silver is still a good bet. It's still very attractive. Why? We'll look at the reasons and understand why silver is a popular asset that should be in your investment portfolio. And remember, your portfolio shouldn't be limited to just one asset or currency. It should include several. So far, so good. Now that we know what silver is and why it's useful, it has other uses for us too. Beyond just buying physical silver, we can start buying or even selling stocks of silver companies. Where's a good entry point? Where isn't? We'll discuss a lot today. We'll have many chances to talk together, and during these conversations, I'll always try my best to give you as much helpful and detailed information as I can. I hope that by sharing this information with you, it will make a positive difference in your life, even if that difference is small or just helps you a little bit. At the very least, I feel truly rewarded when I see your positive feedback and notice the hope and encouragement it brings to people. Knowing that something I've shared has helped, even in a small way, really motivates me to keep going and to continue offering support and information whenever you need it. First, looking at the image, in this first image, it currently shows the leading countries around the world in silver production. As you can see, these are the top nations when it comes to producing silver. This is the first thing we need to understand about the silver market, meaning which are the primary countries we're most sensitive to. First is Mexico. Well, Mexico has had some various crises recently, like the crisis that emerged due to, the killing of a cartel member, or whoever, mafia, whatever the story was, that took place there. For this reason, it's considered an important place for us. Let me open a parenthesis here. If you find some words strange, or if there's any other issue, please accept my apologies. The video translation and dubbing were done mostly with the help of AI, and AI has helped so that you can hear the English language more completely. Please accept our apologies. Mexico, it was facing specific crises, a series of problems arose for it, and it has gone through many different stories. We come to China, a country with vast reserves and very important information that it provides to us. The Chinese are one of the leading countries in the metals market. How and why? The goods they produce are very dependent on this tool, very dependent on this commodity. And the thing is, this particular commodity is actually one that is primarily targeting the future of technology. Meaning, because of the excessive and continually rising price of gold, which will very likely become even more expensive than it already is by the end of next year, it is important to keep this in mind. While the drive the metals market, it's between the Chinese are the tool, and will see even higher prices, the fact is that silver becomes the second target. Why? Because it has almost similar functionalities and is much cheaper for them. When we're talking about $5,000 or $6,000 gold, we're talking about $60 or $70 silver. And it will have a huge price difference for companies, and companies make up an important part of our market. So China is very significant for us. After that, we have Peru, which has reasonable conditions, Bolivia, Poland, Chile, the United States, Australia, and Canada. Well, there's a story here, which is that depending on the countries you're in and watching this video from, your country could also be among these roughly 9 countries. If you live in Canada, the United States, Australia, Chile, Poland, and Bolivia, Peru, China, and Mexico. There's one thing in common among you, which is that there are companies in your country that are primarily extractors of precious metals like silver as well. Many other countries are not on this list and have fewer production reserves. For this reason, you can look into them and you can count on them too. So we understood which countries are important to us. Their information is significant for us, and important companies are present in them. Alright, after this topic, let's move on to the second part to see where these big companies are located. We've understood which countries are important to us, but let's look at the companies. We have one from Mexico, Canada, 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 and the United States. The game has changed a bit, hasn't it? 3 very important companies from Canada are present, 1 company from the United States, and 1 from Mexico. Did you notice there are no Chinese companies included? Why did we present this report to you this way? To make you aware that companies with higher revenues from the precious metals industry, which are large corporations, earn their income like this. Many of the countries you saw, like Peru or China, have many small-scale companies active in this field. We only went for the big players here, so you know who you're dealing with in the market and who you're sitting across from. You can see the production levels for each of these companies. If you look closely, Mexico, with that company's production, is significantly leading the way. And then in the following ranks are Canada and then the United States. The point is to keep an eye on these companies, but these companies are safer than the others. The financial market has no safe place, mind you, but safer means that because they have more assets, more commodities, and more money, this extra capital increases their safety margin, and that's why they operate more heavily and move more ponderously, not lightly. So keep this point in mind. Depending on the portfolio you want to build and the strategy you intend to follow, this will be different for you. We've understood the companies and which countries we're considering, and what could happen for us. You can see the major companies on NASDAQ and TSX, which is the Canadian stock market. Why? Because most people who want to be present in the market here, I think, would want to be in the US or Canadian stock markets. Overall, you see three very important companies on NASDAQ, and below that, you see 6 companies active on the Canadian Stock Exchange. Now, these companies are very important to us. Many of their business models differ from one another. Why should you know these companies? If you want to be active in the Canadian or US markets, the stock exchanges of the US or Canada, you can start your activity with one of these companies. It's great for a start, but if you're more of a risk taker, you should look into smaller companies. Don't forget, I'll say it again, financial markets, it is never, never, and never a safe haven, but it's the best place for people who want to grow their capital, and they can gain a lot of information from it and build wealth through it. The companies you see here in the NASDAQ market, we're seeing its effects on the United States economy as well, and vice versa, meaning the United States economy will also have specific impacts on them. First of all, keep in mind that mining companies that extract silver do a great deal of work, and their work style is different. Their revenues are spent in various areas, and they perform different tasks. But these companies have to sell their products somewhere. I mean, there's a market for the products somewhere, after all. And where is that? We can say, okay, where do these products go? They come here. The first part is the direct sector, direct jobs. Where are they? Some people go directly wanting to convert it into metal, ingots, and so forth. They're the ones looking for mines. They're the extractors. In another part, we have the extractors themselves, refineries, and they help many industries grow. We have another sector consisting of companies operating in the field of semiconductors and technologies, operating in energy. There's another part which is us, meaning we are present in these sectors. Why? Because it's considered a semi-safe haven for us, this metal called silver. It's not as conservative as gold, nor is it as risky as other markets. Silver is considered a semi-safe haven for us, which is why we've always kept an eye on silver and still do. You can trade in it, you can invest, it has various ETFs and so on and so forth. But keep in mind that taxes in the country where you are located is one of the important considerations when it comes to investing in it. So if technology gets stronger, if our technologies become more widespread, silver will likely strengthen. If we move towards solar panels, silver will likely strengthen. Why do we say likely? Because there might be sudden changes. Regulations can affect it. We need it in the battery industry, especially electric vehicle batteries, in the growth of industry, technology, agriculture, and many other areas. We use this metal to grow ourselves in the world. And naturally, we as individuals who gain profit in the market can use it and create many applications from it. But in another section, these companies have 3 models of income. The first part are companies that extract. They go directly and pull the ore out of the mine and sell it. Well, these companies have heavy operations, and it's very, very hard and heavy work. It's highly responsible, and anyway, it's connected to people's lives, and they try to go and increase the extraction of the mines they have so they can earn more money. One interesting thing about the first part, the miners, is that you should keep in mind these miners also obtain other metals from extracting these mines this time. That also, anyway, creates a profit for them. As you can see, we've written for them it's high risk and high reward, meaning they have high incomes, high risk, and they also give very high profits. No, they give high profits, not very high. This high profit is useful for us in many places. It helps us a lot, and it brings about many events. But in the second part, as you see, guys, I've written their key options below for you. I won't explain to take your time. Stop wherever you like, read, and see. If your language isn't great for reading, okay, stop and take a photo, give it to various AIs, and make use of it. The second part are companies that, man, are low risk. They have low risk. But why do they have low risk? These are just investors. They put in money, they get their bullion, that's it. They have specific points and are almost not involved in administrative work, extraction, personnel, and much of those stories. One of the very good sectors for safe assets for metals is right here. But in the third part, we have explorers who want to find new mines and start extracting, or sometimes they just find new mines and sell them. Very high risk. They have very high risk, and naturally they have very high reward too, meaning it's higher than high reward, beyond high reward. What it is, friends, is keep in mind when it's high risk and has high reward, it can also have a big loss. And on this side, it can have a very big loss. Just as in our low risk, which gives you a logical profit, it also gives you a logical loss. So, one part of financial markets is loss. Keep this point in mind. As an investor, we try to find an asset that brings us the least loss, but there is always loss in this market. You understood how companies are earning income and how they are working alongside each other. And if we want to put these together, the first part started like this. Which countries, which companies, in which financial markets, how they make money. And we must understand all of these now to know how this commodity we want to get is useful for us, where it's more logical for us to be present. You see a complete picture of the vast information provided to you. In the first part, there are very important points regarding silver. It has a growing demand. Its production hasn't yet risen to meet that demand. It has a growing demand. Its production hasn't yet risen to meet that demand. It could also have negative aspects because a shortage is coming to the market. But don't forget, a shortage can always mean money. In the second part, we've explained to you what the differences and the contrast between silver and gold will be like, and how to place this silver and gold alongside each other, so keep this point in mind. But another part that could be important for you is why silver and what profitability silver has for us. Why silver can be so significant for us, where we stand in the story, and how we can profit from it in the financial markets. Look, the effects that exist in the financial markets, we are responsible for them and must account for them in the financial markets. As you can see, how much growth the market should have achieved and how much it has grown in terms of price. But in the green line, we see the amount of growth in the financial markets. We see a market like stocks in the mining sector, how it's happening, what it's like, and how much more it has been able to grow. So keep this point in mind. In another part we have, it's about this silver we have in the market, this silver that we hold, in which sectors it's more important for us. It can create more profit for us, and we should be mindful of that. Where its future lies, where we can invest, and how its best players can perform. These are all sectors you should focus on. Be careful and don't forget. These visuals are created exclusively for you by our team. What exists is, well, who the miners are, who's who, and so on, which we've understood. As investors, we need to know these things. Now we understand that, well, Buying silver itself and investing in silver stocks are different. Stock profits have been higher, while the security of silver itself has been higher. You've seen this, and you see it in the image too. The information that your conservative side should always act on is different, so keep that in mind. But moving on with the story, we have a section where we've provided information throughout about what? About how the required amount for the financial markets is, and how this need is being met, what the situation is like, whether our situation is good or not, what the market need is like. Supply and demand are important to us, and you're seeing supply and demand. What the future of the market will be like. As for the future conditions, as you can see, our situation in the future will face a bit of a crisis. While our production is indeed increasing, our demand is growing even faster. And you really need to keep an eye on this field. In the third section, we've laid out why it's growing, which many of you already know, and you can find more details in many places. But in the next section, we've pointed out that, look, there are some risks involved too. After all, it can't always be profit. So what's our risk? Why do we take on these risks? Because we want to make money, right? In making this money, how much are we willing to lose? That's a question you must always be able to answer. How much do I lose to gain how much? How much am I actually capable of losing? So keep this point in mind. We're always aware of where we stand. We must know our risk. Don't forget that. Another part of our scenarios is like this. If our production, as you can see, the gap between our production and our needs is getting wider, it's opening up. Right now, our production covers about 70% of the market's needs. If something happens and this need isn't met, or if this gap were to grow even larger, how much more profit could we potentially make? These are things we need to consider. We've thought about the losses, and we've thought about this too. Of course, when I say think about it, many of the answers are right there in the images. Use them. Various scenarios have been set out for it. If things go reasonably, meaning if it's really bad and we don't have any need and so on, the current price will stay between $50 and $80. If we can achieve a good bullish scenario, for the next 5 years, we could say, okay, it'll be $100 to $150, and I'm focusing more on that. But if things keep getting worse like this, our demand keeps rising, and our gold gets more expensive, our extreme bullish scenario is between $150 and $300. Because the market has a real thirst for using it. It needs it. Gold is expensive. It can't afford to buy it. Slowly but surely, we're reaching a point where we should just leave gold to the central bank itself and let the central bank go buy it. The use of solar panels is increasing. Electric cars, high-tech vehicles, various technologies like 5G production, artificial intelligence, and so on, these are all increasing. So our demand, it's going to increase from 2025 to 2030. It's on the rise. Artificial intelligence definitely has to grow until 2030. But there are also concerns in this market, the conditions of which you can see in the corner of the screen. Investments also need to be made, which are already happening. A huge amount of capital will definitely enter this market. Good ways to make a profit have also been mentioned for you, but keep in mind, I'll say it again, risk is one of the key points in this market. But let's get to the best part of the story, our current situation. This image, I think, the price was set a few days ago when the price was around $76 or $77, and the financial market actually had a gap. Now, $76 or $77. $76. Of course, the image isn't exactly from there. The graphics team designed it. The thing is, we've provided various supports and resistances for you, dear ones, so you know where you stand in the market and what might happen ahead of you. In the supports section, we have $73, we have $69, $65, $61, and $57. And regarding resistances, we have $77, 81, 86, 91, 96, and 101. And you should be careful. Among the numbers mentioned, we also have important 50% ranges that are useful for smaller traders in the market if you want to trade on a smaller scale, trade with leverage, and so on. Keep an eye on the numbers that exist in between as well. These are important numbers for us that fall roughly between these lines in the financial market. Well, in our bullish scenario, we should go to 81, 86, 91, 96, and 101. But in our bearish scenario, if we can't close above the $69 level and we want to close below it, we must go to 65, 61, and 57, which are very attractive numbers. I'm very interested myself, but, well, maybe we won't get there. After all, we don't always get what we want. The levels mentioned are very important regarding silver. Which companies you can choose is up to you. I don't want to get too much into the story of how much profit this market can give or not, because anyway, there's a certain business aspect to it. But the information conveyed to you here in these images is information that can put you at a different level of the market and provide you with countless insights. Be careful. Know the market risks. Read the image well, because these risks exist in the market and always, always, and always will be with you. Comment your questions for us, write them down. I'll be there to answer. I'll definitely reply to your messages. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. We'll be here with more of these new types of videos, and we try to be better each session than the last so that we can progress alongside you. May your days be prosperous. Have a good night and day. May God be your friend and protector.